Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Gaia the Dragon Champion Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile for May 2022. The Gaia deck was one of Yugi's most well-known fusion monsters from the original series. It's gotten multiple amounts of support throughout the years as well, with Rise of the Duelist being the latest pack. I wanted to update the deck just basically with all the different ratios and changes I've made to it since that deck profile. It's definitely been a good while since then, and I feel an update was definitely due. Hopefully we'll get some new support. I feel like we're always getting different forms of Gaia, the magical dragon, knight, and all of the other fusions. So if we get maybe like a Link monster in the future, or even like another Synchro that can be more vital to the actual fusion plays, I definitely would like to see that. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the main deck monsters. For the Gaia monsters, we are running 3 of the Gaia the Fierce Knight Origin. This card can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of a warrior monster. You can only use each of the following effects of Gaia the Fierce Knight Origin once per turn. You can send one level 5 or higher monster from your hand to the graveyard to special summon this card from your hand. And during the battle phase, quick effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard to target one monster on the field whose current attack is different from its original attack, and its attack becomes its original attack. So this card effect is meant to help get your Gaia the Magical Knight of Dragons back to its original attack, since you lower this card's attack to destroy cards on your opponent's field. So being able to put it back to its original attack, I guess, is also where the name comes in handy, but also being able to set up cards like Curse of Dragon in the graveyard to then use for the special summon is another part of the discard for the dragon to special summon this card onto the field. I also run 3 Gaia the Magical Knight. If this card is always treated as Gaia the Fierce Knight, if you control no monsters or your opponent controls a monster with 2300 or more attack, you can normal summon this card without tributing. If this card is normal or special summon, you can special summon one level 5 dragon monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position. You can only use this effect of Gaia the Magical Knight once per turn. So it's another setup that you can provide with Gaia the Knight Origin, using this card to set up the Curse of Dragon in the graveyard, special summoning onto the field, and then depending on which one you have on the field, can be used for your fusion play of your different Gaia monsters. And I also run 2 Soldier Gaia the Fierce Knight. If the fusion monster already uses its card effect, you can use your Soldier Gaia the Fierce Knight. Quick effect, you can tribute 1 Dragon Fusion monster to special summon this card from your hand. If this card's special summon, you can target 1 attack position monster from the field, change it to defense position. You can tribute this card to add 1 level 7 or higher warrior monster from your deck to your hand, except for Soldier Gaia the Fierce Knight. You can only use each of the following effects of Soldier Gaia the Fierce Knight once per turn. So this is kind of like a last resort if you kind of want to imagine that Gaia would abandon its dragon and then take on the battlefield itself or himself. Then there is the play there. You see he doesn't have any of his horses in the card art as well, so it just helps to kind of reset the play, being able to then add Gaia the Magical Knight back to your hand and start the whole fusion play over again. And for a little more monster presence on the field, I also run 3 Lord Gaia, the Fierce Knight. If your opponent controls a monster and you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. Once per turn, if a monster with higher attack, then this card is special summoned to your opponent's field, except during the damage step. You can make this card gain 700 attack to the end of turn, just a way to make it be a little more difficult to get over this card on the field. But I like it because being a level 7 monster, it gives us options for some rank 7 monsters in the deck, along with the fusion plays, having this easy to summon level 7 monster, and then the additional normal summon of your Gaia the Magical Knight with your opponent controlling a monster with 2300 or more attack. For the Curse of Dragon monsters, I am running 3 Curse of Dragon, the Cursed Dragon. If this card's normal or special summon, you can add 1 field spell or trap from your deck to your hand that specifically lists Gaia the Dragon Champion in its text. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Gaia the Dragon Champion in your monster zone, negate the effects of face-up monsters your opponent controls with less attack than or equal to it until the end of this turn. And you can only use each effect of Curse of Dragon, the Cursed Dragon, once per turn. Another great setup card of being able to search out a good majority of the different Gaia spell and traps we run in the deck, and we do run a good number of them for those different spell and traps that list Gaia the Dragon Champion in its text. Means we also have options for getting our fusion spell and some of the many different traps we run also. And for more fusion options, I also run 2 Curse of Dragonfire. Not only can this card help to target a field spell on the field and destroy it, even our opponents, but also you can fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters you control as fusion material. So if you set up Curse of Dragonfire on the field along with your Gaia monster, then that can be the play right then and there to fusion summon into your Gaia monster of choice. For For more setup for our dragons on the field as well, I run 3 Artillery Catapult Turtle. You contribute 1 monster to special summon 1 Gaia the Fierce Knight monster, or 1 level 5 dragon monster from your hand or deck. You can only use each effect of Artillery Catapult Turtle once per turn. So you can even tribute Catapult Turtle itself to special summon those monsters out of the field. That is what you'll do most of the time with this card, just giving you that resource to choose any one of the 2. Most of the time with my Curse of Dragon search, I'll go for Curse of Dragon, the Cursed Dragon, to then have the play of being able to special summon out that card onto the field and gain any of the other Gaia resources. And you have the special summon of Lord Gaia the Fierce Knight, and then you can just special summon that card, normal summon Artillery Catapult Turtle, and you have your Curse of Dragon summon from there. For additional fusion search and the rest of the monsters for the main deck, I run 3 Keeper of Dragon Magic. When it's normal or special summon, you can discard 1 card, add 1 Polymerization normal spell or 1 Fusion normal spell from your deck to your hand. And with that, it gives us our search for our Spiral Fusion with this card, and also being able to reveal a fusion monster in your extra deck and special summon one of the fusion materials whose name is specifically listed on that card from your graveyard and face down defense position. Doesn't happen as often in this deck since I'm not running the normal versions of Gaia the Fierce Knight and Curse of Dragon, but this card's mostly in here as a searchable card for Spiral Fusion, and then it can also be used for some additional link plays in the extra deck, but also being a dragon type monster that can be used to summon out some of the other dragon monsters we run for more of the generic fusion plays in the deck also. And that is it for the main deck monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. We do run a good number of different field spells in the deck. One of the most important ones being Galloping Gaia. Your opponent cannot activate card or effects during the battle phase while Gaia the Dragon Champion's in your monster zone. You can activate one of the following effects. You can reveal 1 Gaia the Fierce Knight monster in your hand, add 1 level 5 dragon monster from your deck to your hand, or you can reveal a level 5 dragon monster in your hand to add 1 Gaia the Fierce Knight monster from your deck to your hand. This just gives you a search of whatever you need for that play, whether it's a Curse of Dragon or a Gaia the Fierce Knight. You have both options available to you, but also being able to just shut down your opponent during the battle phase while your Gaia monster attacks means that you can then hit for some bigger plays altogether thanks to this. And for more search power, I run 3 Gateway to Chaos. When it's activated, you add 1 Blackluster Soldier, Ritual Monster, or 1 Gaia the Fierce Knight monster from your deck to your hand. That's really all this card is used for in this deck, just more search power for Gaia the Fierce Knight. There have been times when I activate Gateway to Chaos and then just go straight into activating Galloping Gaia for the additional setup, but needing that Gaia the Fierce Knight monster to search out with this card, so then I can reveal it and search out Curse of Dragon with Galloping Gaia. And for more of the fusion plays, I run the 3 Spiral Fusion. You fusion summon 1 Dragon Fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. If you special summon Gaia the Dragon Champion by this effect, it gains 2600 attack. Also can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. So having your field spell Galloping Gaia set up and then having a 5200 attack point Gaia the Dragon Champion is quite fearsome, but also being able to lower its attack to destroy an opponent's card while still keeping its 2600 attack is why I like using Spiral Fusion. But the fact that Spiral Fusion can also give you some generic fusion plays, it what makes this card so great, as long as you have those dragon resources available to you on the field and in your hand. For some of the one-ofs that I run for the spells in the deck, I run the 1 Spiral Spear Strike. If Gaia the Dragon Champion or Gaia the Fierce Knight is on the field and it attacks the defense monster, you inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. And if Gaia the Dragon Champion inflicts battle damage with this effect, you draw 2 cards, then discard 1 card, setting up more dragons in the graveyard, but being more of a way to draw and sift through some of the more important cards in your deck that you may run. I also run the 1 Dragon Mirror, the 1 Dragon Shrine for setting up Curse of Dragon in the graveyard again, the 1 Reinforcements of the Army for being able to search out our Gaia the Fierce Knight origin, and also the 1 Monster Reborn and the 1 Terraforming. Having the 2 field spell search definitely does make terraforming very, very important in this deck. I thought of running Metaverse. If you wanted to run Metaverse, you can always take out the Dragon Shrine for that additional copy, but I only run the 1 Spiral Spear Strike because that card is also searchable thanks to cards like your Sky Galloping Gaia the Dragon Champion. And then for the traps, I run 2 Spiral Reborn. You target 1 level 7 or lower dragon monster in your graveyard, special summon it. And if you special summon a Gaia, the Dragon Champion, by this effect, your opponent can target it with a card effects, and it cannot be destroyed by their card effects. You can activate 1 Spiral Reborn per turn. Another way to make your Gaia, the Dragon Champion, immune to your opponent's cards, while giving you an easy resource to special summon on the field, since they're not specifically listed as being only to be able to be summoned on the field by a fusion summon. With the last of the cards being 1 Spiral Discharge cards. I run only one of this card because it can be searched out if you need it for the play, thanks to your Curse of Dragon, the Cursed Dragon. While Gaia the Dragon Champion's in your monster zone, your opponent monsters can only target Gaia the Dragon Champion 4 attacks, and when an attack is declared involving your Gaia the Dragon Champion, you can target one card on the field and destroy it. It's a continuous trap, but still useful when you set it up on the field to use against your opponent. With the main deck finished, we're now moving on to the extra deck. For the Gaia the Dragon Champion monsters, I run 2 Gaia the Magical Knight of Dragons. You can always put in a 3rd copy of this card if you want. If you wanted to, I'll show you what card you can take out of the extra deck to do so. But with this card's name becomes Gaia the Dragon Champion while on the field. You can use each of the following effects of Gaia the Magical Knight of Dragons once per turn. During the main phase quick effect, you can target one other card on the field. This card loses exactly 2600 attack, and if it does, destroy that card. And when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, this card gains 2600 attack. It'll gain the 2600 thanks to the fusion spell as well, but being able to have this card at such a high attack and be able to also be unaffected by cards or having your opponent activate cards thanks to Galloping Gaia during the battle phase makes it all the scarier to then swing into your opponent. And if they have a defense position monster and you have your spear strike on the field ready for that additional damage that they'll be taking, and draw power altogether since this card is counted as Gaia the Dragon Champion while on the field. I also run the 1 Sky Galloping Gaia the Dragon Champion. This card's name becomes Gaia the Dragon Champion while it's on the field. If it's special summon, you can add 1 Spiral Spear Strike from your deck or graveyard to your hand, and when this card declares an attack on an opponent's monster, you can change the battle position of that opponent's monster. Inflicting that piercing battle damage doesn't work as well with Link monsters, sadly, but still having that option available, and a way to recycle our Spiral Spear Strike if we already had it from our hand and it got destroyed on the field, and then being able to add it back and activate it again. For more of the generic fusion monsters, I run the 1 Borreload Furious Dragon. You just need 2 Dark Dragon monsters. So with your Spiral Fusion, being able to fusion summon a Dragon Fusion monster, you can make use of this card to fusion summon this card out onto the field. And the same with 5-Headed Dragon if you have those resources available. Most of the time though, I like to summon out with Dragon's Mirror, the 5-Headed Dragon, once I've set up plenty of my other dragons in the graveyard late game. And for the Xyz monsters, I run 1 Gaia the Thunder Charger and 1 number 11 Big Eye. It has the piercing option for Gaia the Thunder Charger, and just being able to take my opponent's own monsters resources using the rank 7 Big Eye. For the rank 4s, 1 Gaga Samurai and 1 number 1 Silent Honor Arc. It happens often just when I have the play of Keeper the Dragon Magic and Origin to overlay on the field. And for the Link monsters, I run the 1 Nightmare Cerberus, the 1 Barricade Board Blocker, 1 Cross Sheep. It's surprising how often I do like going into this card with our fusion plays. And then also the 1 Underclock Taker, just another way to lower my opponent's monster's attack and then swing into it with my Magical Dragon Champion. And then 1 Nightmare Phoenix and the 1 Nightmare Unicorn. If you wanted to run additional copies of your Sky Galloping Gaia and Gaia the Magical Knight of Dragons, you can always take out the Nightmare Cerberus and the Underclock Taker, or even reduce the rank 4s down and just keep the rank 7s in the deck, or even take out one of the 2 Dragon Fusions. It's up to you for what you wanted to run, and if you wanted to focus more on the Gaia the Dragon Champion fusion plays. And then as for some of the go-to plays in the deck, relying on getting up your setup is a big part of it. So setting up your field spell on the field is very, very important because it gives you your search. So when you search out your particular card, it depends on what you have in your hand. Most of the time, there's a good chance you'll open up with a Curse of Dragon or a Gaia monster. If not, you can at least reveal the one and then add the needed one to your hand with that play. And then if your opponent controls that monster and you control no monsters, or your opponent controls a monster, you can then summon out your Gaia the Magical Knight, and with that normal summon without tributing, you can then special summon the card you searched out, which could either be the Curse of Dragon, or if you did vice versa, special summoning that card on the field. And if it's Curse of Dragonfire, that's the one you normally want to go to if you want to go for the fusion play without using the fusion spell, because you can use Curse of Dragonfire to fusion summon out your Gaia the Magical Dragon, but also being able to search out a particular card thanks to your Curse of Dragon, the Cursed Dragon. When it's summoned, you can target 1 Gaia the Dragon Champion monster, negates effects of all face-up monsters your opponent control, but also when being able to add a spell or trap from your deck to your hand, you can search out the Spiral Fusion with this play, having the Curse of Dragon already on the field with your Gaia the Magical Knight, and then fusing the 2 together to go into your Gaia the Magical Knight of Dragons, which will have 5200 attack thanks to the Spiral Fusion play, giving you 2 pops against your opponent, just as a good way to set up this card on the field as a more difficult card for your opponent to get over. And once again, with Galloping Gaia on the field, when you try and attack into your opponent, they won't be able to activate anything during the battle phase. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoy the video. I'm definitely happy with the results and changes I've made since the last update to the Gaia the Dragon Champion deck, and I hope you all enjoy them as well. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.